Welcome back everyone. Today we are going to start chapter 15, some natural phenomena. In class 7th you read about windstorms and cyclones. You learned that cyclones can cause a lot of damage to human life and property. You also learned that we can protect ourselves from these disaster destructive phenomena to some extent. In this chapter we shall discuss two other destructive natural phenomena. These are lightning and earthquakes. So we shall also discuss what steps we can take to minimize destructions caused by these phenomena. So 15.1 lightning. You might have seen sparks on the electric pole when wire becomes loose. So this phenomena is quite common when wind is blowing and shaking the wire. So you might also have seen sparks when a plug is loose in its socket. Lightning is also an electric spark but on a huge scale. So you must have seen lightning in the sky. In ancient times, people did not understand the cause of these sparks. They were together, therefore, afraid of lightning and thought that the wrath of gods was visiting them. So now, of course, we understand that lightning is caused by the accumulation of charges in the clouds. We need not to be afraid of lightning, but we have to take precautions to protect ourselves from the deadly sparks. So the sparks that the Greek knew about. So in ancient Greek, the ancient Greek knew as early as 600 BC that when amber is a kind of resin, it was rubbed with fur, it attracted light objects such as hair. So might have seen that when you take off woolen or polyester clothes, your hand stands on end. So if you take off these clothes in the dark, you even see a spark and hear a cracking sound. So in 1752, Benjamin Franklin, an American scientist, showed that lightning and the spark from your clothes are essentially the same phenomena. However, it took 2000 years for this realization to occur. So Bojo says, I wonder why they took so many years to realize the similarity. So Paheli says, scientific discoveries are a result of hard work by many people. It can sometimes takes a lot time. So we shall now study some properties of electric charges. We shall also see how they are related to the lightning in the sky. So let us perform some activities to understand the nature of electric charges. But recall first what you might have played as a game. When you rub a plastic scale in your dry hair, the scale can attract very small pieces of paper. So you must have played that game. So 15.2 charging by rubbing. So activity 15.1, take a used ball pen refill and rub it vigorously with a piece of polythene. Bring it close to small pieces of paper. Take care not to touch the rubbed end of the refill with your hand or with a metallic object. Repeat the activity with small pieces of dry leaf, husk and mustard seeds. Record your observations. So when a plastic refill is rubbed with polythene, it acquires a small electric charge. Similarly, when a plastic comb is rubbed with dry hair, it acquires small charge. So these objects are called charged objects. In the process of charging the refill and the plastic comb, polythene and hair also get charged. So let's try to charge some other objects that are familiar to you. So activity 15.2. So here collect the objects and material listed in 15.1. Try to charge each by rubbing your with the material mentioned in the table. Record your findings. You can add more items on the table. So you can see refill, balloon, eraser, spoon. So material used to rub, polythene woolen cloth, dry hair, wool. You can use eraser and rub it with wool. So steel spoon, polythene, woolen cloth. So what does it attract and does not attract paper. So charge or not charge, you can write it here in the table as you get the results of the activity. So 15.3, the types of charges and their interactions. We will select some objects from table 15.1 for the next activity. So 15.3, activity, inflate two balloons, hang them in such a way that they do not touch each other. Rub both the balloons with a woolen cloth and release them. So you can see, what do you observe? So you can see light charges repel each other. So you can see the balloons are repelling each other. Now let us repeat this activity with the ball pen refill. Rub one refill with polythene, place it carefully in a glass tumbler using the tumbler as a stand. So you can see a interaction between the like charges. So rub the other refill also with polythene. Bring it close to the charged refill. Be careful not to touch the charged end with your hand. Is there any effect on the refill or in the tumbler? Do to attract each other or repel each other. In this activity, we have brought closer to together the charged objects that were made of the same material. What happens if two charged objects made of different materials are brought close to each other? Let's find out. So here you can see, rub a refill and place it gently in a glass tumbler as before, as in figure 15.3. Bring an inflated charged balloon near the refill and observe. So you can see, unlike charges attract each other. So you have seen that. Let's summarize the observations. A charged balloon repel a charged balloon. A charged refill repel a charged refill. But a charged balloon attracts a charged refill. Does it indicate that the charge on the balloon is of the different kind of from the charge on the refill? Can we say then that there are two kinds of charges? But we can also say that the charges of the same kinds repel each other while other charges of different kind attract each other. It is convention to call the charges acquired by glass rod when it is rubbed with a silk as positive. So the other kind of charge is said to be negative. It is observed that when a charged glass rod is brought near a charged plastic straw rubbed with polythene, there is attraction between the two. So what do you think would be the kind of charge on the plastic straw? Your guess that the plastic straw would carry a negative charge is correct. The electrical charges generated by rubbing are static. They do not move by themselves. When charges move, they constitute an electric current. You have been reading about electric current since class 6. The current in a circuit which make a bulb glow, or the current that makes a wire hot, is nothing but a motion of charges. So here you can see transfer of charge 15.4 activity. Take an empty jam bottle. Take a piece of cardboard slightly bigger in size than the mouth of the bottle. Pierce a hole in it so that the metal paper clip can be inserted. So open out the paper clip as shown in the figure 15.4. So you can cut two strips of aluminum foil about 4 cm into 1 cm each. Hang them in the paper clip as shown. Insert the paper clip in the cardboard lid so that it is perpendicular to it as in 15.4 figure. Charge a refill and touch it. So you can see with the end of the paper clip, observe what happens. Is there any effect on the foil strip? Do they repel each other or attract each other? Now touch other charged bodies with the end of the paper clip. Do foil strips behave in the same way as in the all cases? Can this apparatus be used to detect whether a body is charged or not? Can you explain why the foil strip repel each other? So you have seen that. So now the aluminum foil, so you can see this figure was a simple electroscope. So the aluminum foil strips receive the same charge from the recharge refill through the paper clip. Remember that metals are good conductors of electricity. The strip carrying similar charges repel each other and they become wide open. Such a device can be used to test whether an object is carrying charge or not. This device is known as electroscope. So thus we find that electrical charges can be transferred from a charged object to another through a metal conductor. Touch the other end of the paper clip gently with hand and you will find a change in the foil strip. They come back to their original state. Repeat charging of foil strips and touching the paper clip. Every time you will find that the foil strips collapse as soon as you touch the paper clip with hand. Why does this happen? The reason is that the foil strip lose charge to the earth through your body. We say that the foil strip are discharged. The process of transferring of charge from a charged object to the earth is called the earthing. So earthing is provided in building to protect us from electrical shock due to any leakage of electric current. So you must have heard about earthing. So earthing is nothing. It is just to protect the electric shock due to any leakage of electric current. So the story of lightning is given in 15.5. It is now possible to explain lightning in terms of charges produced by rubbing. So you can see here. You learnt in class 7 that during the development of thunderstorm, the air current move upward while the water droplets move downwards. You have studied this. This vigorous movement caused separation of charges. By a process not yet completely understood, the positive charges collect near the upper edge of the cloud and the negative charges accumulate near the lower edges. There is accumulation of positive charge near the ground also. So when the magnitude of the accumulated charge become very large, the air, which is normally a poor conductor of electricity, is no longer able to resist their flow. Negative and positive charges meet, producing streak of bright light and sound. we see streaks or as lightning as in figure 15.5. The process is called an electric discharge. So accumulation of charges leading to lightning. So you can see here the figure 15.5. So the process of electric discharge can occur between two or more clouds or between clouds and the earth. Today we need not get frightened by lightning like our ancestors did. Now we understand the basic phenomenon. Scientists are trying hard to improve this understanding. However, lightning strike could destroy life and property. It is therefore necessary to take measures to protect ourselves. So lightning safety. During lightning and thunderstorm, no open safe is place is safe. So hearing thunder is an alert to rush to a safer place. After hearing the last thunder, wait for some time before coming out of the safe place. So this is the safety tips. Finding a safe place, a house or a building is a safe place. If you are traveling by car or by bus, you are safe inside the windows and doors of the vehicle shut. So do's and don'ts during a thunderstorm. So outside, when you are outside, open vehicles like motorcycle, tractors, construction machinery, open cars are not safe. Open fields, tall trees, shelters in parks, elevated places do not protect us from lightning strokes. Carrying an umbrella is not at all a good idea during thunderstorms. If it in a forest, take shelter under shorter trees. If no shelter is available and you are in an open field, stay away, far away from all trees. Stay away from poles or other metal objects. Do not lie on the ground. Instead, squat low on the ground. Place your hand on your knees. Play with your head between the hands. So you can see the figure in 15.6. This position will make you the smallest target to be struck. So safe position during the lightning, you can see in the figure. Inside the house, lightning can strike telephone cords, electrical wire and metal poles. Do you remember lightning of an electrical discharge? During a thunderstorm, contact with these should be avoided. So it is safer to use mobile phones and cordless phones. However, it is not wise to call up a person who is receiving your phone through a wired phone. So bathing should be avoided during thunderstorm to avoid contact with running water. So electrical appliances like computers, TVs, etc. should be unplugged. Electrical lights can remain on. They do not cause any harm. So lightning conductors. Lightning conductors is a device used to protect buildings from the effect of lightning. A metallic rod taller than the building is installed in the walls of the building during its construction. So one end of the rod is kept out in the air and the other end is buried deep in the ground. So you can see in the figure 15.7, the rod provides easy route for the transfer of electric charges to the ground. So you can see lightning conductor and it is connected and it is there buried in the deep ground. So the metal column used during construction, electrical wires and water pipes in the buildings also protect us to an extent, but do not touch them during a thunderstorm. So you have seen this. So you can see the figure here. Very nice. So this is a copper plate and this is a lightning conductor. So the lightning goes down to the ground. So 15.47 earthquakes. You just learned about thunderstorm and lightning. In class 7 you learned about cyclones. This natural phenomena can cause a large scale destruction of human life and property. Fortunately, these phenomena can be predicted to some extent. The weather department can warn about a thunderstorm developing in some area. And if a thunderstorm occurs, there is always a possibility of lightning and cyclone accompanying it. So we get time to take measures to protect ourselves from the damage caused by the phenomena. So there is, however, one natural phenomena which we are not yet able to predict accurately. It is an earthquake. If it can cause damage to human life and property on a huge scale. So a major earthquake occurred in India on 8th October of 2005 in Uri and Thangdar town of North Kashmir. So you can see it in figure. So mass destruction was done. So before that a major earthquake occurred in 26 January 2001 in Bhuj district of Gujarat. So activity 15.5. Ask your parent about the huge damage to life and property caused by these earthquakes. Collect a few pictures showing the damage caused by these earthquakes from the newspaper and magazines of those days. Prepare a short report on the suffering of the people during and after the earthquakes. So what is an earthquake? What happens when it occurs? What can we do to minimize its effect? These are some of the questions which we shall discuss below. So what is an earthquake? An earthquake is a sudden shaking or trembling of the earth which lasts for a very short time. It is caused by disturbance deep inside the Earth's crust. Earthquakes occurs all the time, all over the earth. They are not even noticed. Major earthquakes are much less frequent. They can cause immense damage to buildings, bridges, dams, and peoples. They can be the greatest loss to life and property. Earthquakes can cause floods, landslide, and tsunamis. So a major tsunami occurred on the Indian Ocean on 26 December 2004. All the coastal areas around the ocean suffered huge losses. So activity 15.6, take an outline map of the world, locate the eastern coast and Andaman and Nicobar and in India, mark other countries around the Indian Ocean which could have suffered damage. Collect accounts of the devastation caused by the tsunami in India from your parents or other elders in the family or in the neighborhood. So you have studied about the earthquakes in geography in 7th class. So there is a more detailed explanation there. So what causes an earthquake? My grandmother told me that the earth is balanced on the horns of a bull, and when the bull shifts it to the other horn, an earthquake takes place. How could it be true? So Bojo is confused. So in ancient times, people did not know the true cause of earthquakes. Their ideas were therefore expressed in mythical stories such as the one told by Bojo's grandmother. So similar myths were prevalent in other parts of the world also. So Paheli says, what could cause a disturbance inside the earth? So now we know that the tremors are caused by the disturbance deep down inside the uppermost layer of the earth called the crust. So you can see it in figure 15.9. So this is the crust, this is mantle, this is the outer core, and this is the inner core. So structure of earth is given in this. So the outermost layer of the earth is not in one piece, it is fragmented. Each fragment is called the plate. So you can see the plate in figure 15.10. So these plates are in continual motion when they brush past one another, or a plate goes under another due to collision. So you can see in figure 15.11. So they causes disturbance in the earth crust. So it is the disturbance that show up as the earthquake on the surface of the earth. So you can see this is colliding and this is brushing past each other. So movement of earth plates. So if scientists know so much about the earthquakes, can they also predict when and where the next one will strike? Although we know for sure what causes an earthquake, it is not yet possible to predict when and where the next earthquake might occur. So Paheli says, I read somewhere that underground explosions could also cause tremors. So tremors on the earth can also be caused when a volcano erupts or a meteor hits the earth or an underground nuclear explosion is carried out. However, most earthquakes are caused by the movements of the earth's plates. So since earthquakes are caused by the movements of plates, the boundaries of the plates are weak zone where earthquakes are more likely to occur. So the weak zones are known as seismic or fault zones. So in India, the area most threatened are Kashmir, Western and Central Himalayas, the whole of the northeast run of Kutch in Rajasthan and the Indo-Gangetic plain. Some areas of southern India are also fall in the danger zone. So you can see in the movement of earthquake plates in the figure 15.12. The power of an earthquake is expressed in terms of a magnitude on a scale called the Richter scale. Really destructive earthquake have magnitude higher than 7 on the Richter scale. Both Bhuj and Kashmir earthquakes had magnitude of greater than 7.5. So they were very massive earthquakes. So the tremor produced waves on the surface of the earth. These are called seismic waves. The waves are recorded by an instrument called the seismograph, as in figure 15.13. So you can see here. The instrument is simply a vibrating rod or a pendulum which start vibrating when tremor occur. A pen is attached to the vibrating system. The pen records the seismic waves on a paper which moves under it. By studying these waves, scientists can construct a complete map of the earthquake as shown in figure 15.4. So 14. So they can also estimate its power and the cost. So you can see here in the diagram. This is a seismograph. This is a typical seismographic record. You can see the record here. So this is a map of the earthquake. So you can see epicenter, focus. This is the focus, and earth surface. These are the seismic waves. So like Like many other scales in science, decibel is another example. Richter scale is not linear. This means that an earthquake of magnitude 6 does not have 1.5 times the destructive energy of an earthquake of magnitude 4. In fact, an increase of 2 in magnitude means 1000 times more destructive energy. Therefore, an earthquake of magnitude 6 has 1000 times more destructive energy than an earthquake of magnitude 4. So, protection against earthquakes, we know from the earlier pages that earthquakes cannot be predicted. We have also seen that they can be highly destructive. It is therefore important that we take necessary precautions to protect ourselves all the time. People living in seismic zone where the earthquakes are more likely to occur have the to be specially prepared. First of all, the buildings in these zones should be designed that so that they can withstand major tremors. Modern building technology can make it possible. So it is advisable to make the structure simple so that it is quite safe. So consult qualified architects and structural engineers in highly seismic area. The use of mud or timber is better than using heavy construction material. Keep roof as light as possible. In case the roof falls, structure falls, the damage will be not heavy. So it is better if the cupboards and the shelves are not fixed to the wall so that they do not fall easily. And be careful where you hung wall clock, photo frames, water heaters, etc. so that in the event of an earthquake they do not fall on the people. Since some buildings may catch fire due to earthquake, it is necessary that all buildings, especially tall buildings, have firefighting equipments in working order. So the Central Building Research Institute Roorkee has developed know-how to make quake-resistant houses. In the event that an earthquake does strike, take the following steps to protect yourself. So if you are at home, you should take shelter under a table or stay there till the shaking stops. Stay away from tall and heavy objects, they may fall on you. If you are in bed, do not get up. Protect your head with a pillow. So second is, if you are outdoors, find a clear spot away from the buildings, trees and overhead power lines. Drop to the ground. If you are in a car or a bus, do not come out. Ask the driver to drive slowly to clear spot. Do not come out till the tremor stops. So these are the precautions you should take in case of an earthquake. So here the chapter is finished and we shall start the next chapter in the next class.